in a very unusual place right now. It's the home of a Surrealist painter who lived in the mid part of the 20th century. This is the home of Kurt Seligmann and his wife Arlette. He was an emigre from Europe. He fled Nazi Germany, moved to Sugar Loaf, New York in 1938, and died here in 1962. Many of the famous artists of the mid-century came and visited him here and worked with him in his studio and in his etching room. He kept a studio in New York City and he kept a studio in Paris for his whole life, but they lived more and more here in the Chester, Sugar Loaf area. And his work softened over his career. The work in the 50s became much more floral, much less terrifying than it was. Kurt Seligmann produced, I would say, thousands of paintings. He was a very methodical painter. He was Swiss trained, and he made drawings, etchings, watercolors, and oils of almost all the images he did. And they were all coming out of that kind of surrealist mentalities. Surrealism was an art movement, a very formal art movement that developed after World War I and sort of worked its way out after World War II. And it was usually European men, there were some women involved, who were shocked by what happened in World War I, the violence, the horror of it, and they all had premonitions that another war was coming. For a lot of people, Surrealism is just a couple of dry pages in an art history book. So we're often asked, you know, so what is this? Why are you doing this now, here? And the way a lot of us see Surrealism is that it was a series of techniques and experiments in how you engage with the world. These men and women figured out ways to get access to the unconscious, to express grief, to express joy, wonder. It's a very positive art movement that there's a lot of lessons in it still today. Surrealism actually came out of a literary movement. It was the way that words were being put together, and then that became a visual movement, and then it moved into film and video. And I swear a lot of the current social media, things down to tweets, can be traced back to Surrealism. But it has a longer history than that. To me, Surrealism is a form of alchemy. And alchemy was that idea of scooping into the intuitive, of the technical, and the spiritual all at once. And so that the Surrealists were technically skilled men and women. Seligmann, whose studio we're in here, was a highly skilled engraver and printer. All these people brought a great level of skill with them. They were all very concerned about the quality of the world around them. There was a spiritual distress that they were in. And then they also had the kind of bravery to kind of develop techniques to explore and express that. So that Surrealism both goes forward, I think, into the youth of today, into social media and the internet, and it goes back to the 15th and 16th century into alchemy. So I think Surrealism is about to experience a whole new level of interest, because these men and women pioneered certain ways of presenting feelings and emotions that hadn't happened in a long time.